Looks like I am live. I am going to. What up, everybody? We have no live viewers right now, so I'm basically talking to myself. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to play an intro video real quick. What's up, everybody? This is Weaponry Fitness. I am a weaponry fitness guy. I am in the space of finances, martial arts, fitness, and I am going to be talking on a subject matter that has been circulating the interwebs for quite some time now. So I should be live on X. I just got an X, so if you guys want to hear some of my takes on, um, I'm actually a little more authentic on X because most people aren't. A lot of people on X are more based. A lot more conservative folks on X, so it's kind of more my it's more my backyard over there. So I like X a lot. I don't know why I didn't join that before. So let me see if this is working. Um, Still learning how to navigate this platform. Should be live on X, Facebook, and YouTube. I might have to cut off X because I am streaming Wi-Fi right now. God damn. So was having a little bit of I was having some camera issues and some internet issues. So hopefully this can go pretty smoothly, at least some of it. So yes, I am live on X. So make sure you guys like the video, whatever platform you are. I'm gonna be streaming on YouTube for most of it, but if I notice that my internet is choppy, I'm gonna cut the feed on Facebook and X. So I'm gonna be talking about anything that's like fitness related, men's burden of performance. Hopefully the audio is good. I should test my audio real quick. Hold on. See what the audio is doing. So no one's in the chat right now that can tell me. Can't really see if anyone is in the chat. If you're in the chat, make sure you guys engage. If you're watching a replay, engage in the comments so I can get this video pushed out because engagement matters, likes matters, audience retention matters. So if you're not watching the video all the way through, then YouTube's not going to push it. So it matters. So if you're not watching the video, yep, and audio is working. So that's the one thing. So I haven't been posting for a while because, well, let me tell you, because I'm about to debunk people that think that introverts and extroverts isn't a real thing. So I would say the majority of extroverts will say that introverts and is not real. Extroverts not real. You're just like, it's just a personality. But a lot of people don't like to be classified as one thing or another. But that is, I think sometimes in many cases that it's necessary because if I knew that I was an introvert growing up, uh, and my teachers as well, they would know how to teach us because we have to learn different ways. So I didn't really understand um, that I was an introvert, and I actually I started embracing it after I was in the military. So I didn't even know that this thing was a thing until about after 18 years old, until I started meeting more introverts. So we communicate differently. We communicate our thoughts differently. So the reason why I took off so much from posting, and it's weird because I've been grinding on this YouTube channel for 3 years straight, like physically, and I never got burnt out. But it started as soon as I started a podcast. I did a good month and a half of podcast, and that shit burnt the shit out of me because I'm not used to talking so much. So um, that's what killed my momentum was talking, because as an introvert, that's how we get our energy. We get our energy from being isolated. So anybody who gets into a fight with me, my greatest weakness is just throw me in a club or a bar or a social scene. You'll take the energy right out of me. Because we do need to have our own space, somewhere where we're comfortable. It's not an insecurity thing either. Most people can't even tell if you're even talking to an introvert. There's a lot of podcasters out there who are introverts, and and people that are viewers don't even know it, because they just see someone talking. It's not that we can't talk. It's that we just don't, unless we're talking to somebody we're familiar with. We're not really, we don't really do a whole lot of approaching. We don't start the conversation a lot of times unless we're forced to. So like if we have an awkward situation in a room where nobody's talking, we'll probably make an aggressive attempt to get rid of the awkwardness. So, um, but that's my stance on it. Susan Cain talks about this in the book The Quiet. It's one of the that's actually the only book I have that talks about introverts. Like Rosa Parks was an introvert. I think people that are very internal as far as their personality, they are hardest uh, the hardest souls on the planet. From my perspective, they stand by their beliefs, um, and that's just we just excel differently. So actually, I'll touch upon this a little bit more. So I didn't know this until I got out of the military, but um, it just seems like we work better. Um, we can work good in teams, but we work better alone. If that makes sense. So, like, if you watch The Walking Dead, Daryl, I definitely relate myself to Daryl from The Walking Dead. He's good in groups. He knows how to take orders. He knows how to lead. He knows how to do all that stuff. But he's more of a loner. He knows how to hunt alone. He does it better alone. So uh, I would say he is an introvert. He doesn't say much unless he has to. He doesn't speak up a whole lot, especially if there's another leader, like kind of like Rick. Rick was always the leader, so he was basically the second hand man. So uh, yeah, like I said, every job that I have had, I've excelled where I was in the environment. So I was a pin spotter mechanic and I was a cable technician. I did very well in those fields, and now I'm a truck driver who doesn't work around people that much, and I'm excelling in that as well. So I've always been considered one of the top percent in my own field. Cable, it took me about 8 months to really figure it out because it's real technical stuff. So um, as I got my training, had to go through a lot of failure to get to a certain point where I was in the top 5% of cable technicians in my group. So, and when I say top 5%, it just means uh, how many. Like, say if I go to like 20 houses, how many times has there been a repeat issue? So, like, if I didn't fix the issue, how many times would they go back to those houses? So I didn't have too many repeats. My public service was good, so I didn't get too many complaints, um, and I just did the job quickly. I didn't fall behind. I did it very quickly because I was working on my own pace. I work very fast. I'm always on time, and you can't really do that when you're working with other people because you have to wait on them. So I noticed that I'm probably one of the most punctual people out there because I just hate, like, I think it started when I was in high school because when you're late especially in a private school, man, they call you out, like they make you look stupid in front of people. So I always had really good attendance because I had to show up. So I think I don't know if I don't know if it's a choice to be introverted or extroverted, but I will say this. Let me click out of here. It is it is a choice to be social, antisocial. So I definitely won't take any I'll definitely take accountability for any kind of relationships that I could have had or did have that didn't work out, whatever. But let me plug this in for my laptop dies. So, but enough on that, man. If you have any comments on that, man, just hit it in the comment section, man. No one's in the chat, so we're gonna keep blabbing on because this is going to be a long stream. I'll try not to sound like a rambler, but I can't even get on Facebook right now. This is crazy. Hold on. Like the video. God damn it. But yeah, that's why I haven't been uploading many videos. Also, I was focusing on my finances. So if anybody is in crypto or stocks, as you can see, the market is going pretty crazy. It's either moving sideways, doing like a sideways action as far as the prices go. This whole tariff situation with President Trump has got the market spooked. And if anybody knows about if anyone knows basic economics, man, you can't just come into office and like you got to understand. Trump was running against an administration that didn't particularly uh, resonate with his plan. So he has to come and reconstruct everything into the way that he wants to do it. He's a businessman, so he knows what he's doing. He understands that this tariff situation is going to crash the market. So what happens? So when the markets crash, it's going to upset a lot of people at the top who's been investing a longer time than the people that are in the middle or at the bottom. The people at the bottom, um, they're they're still pretty new. They think that a crash market they think they're supposed to jump in when the market is up. So they're actually screwing themselves over by not jumping in the market now while we're crashing. The people in the middle are the ones who don't really care a rat's ass if the market crashes or not, because if it does crash, that gives them more opportunity to get in to newer projects or to more projects that are less volatile, like S&P 500, Bitcoin. Those are the assets you want to get in now while they're low, while they're on the red. Bitcoin is let's see where Bitcoin's at right now. Bitcoin it is still in the red on the 24 hour. It's at 82K, just under 83K. So still good buying opportunity because we are projected to hit at least 150K this cycle. And when I say this cycle, I mean the top of the cycle would probably be somewhere at the end of like Q4. So it's going to be around November, December. People are projecting it to be 250K, so I'm going to be a little more conservative and say 150. So, but that's that because the people in the middle, I would say that I'm more of in the middle. So if it goes up, I'm happy. I'm going to take profits. If it goes down, I'm still happy. I'm going to buy in because I have my money straight. I don't need whatever the markets does. It's not going to affect my finances because I understand how to manage the money that I don't put in the market. So you don't want to put too much in the market. You don't want to put too much of your net worth in the market. So this is where the mindset of cryptocurrency or stocks is important because you have to have an abundance mindset when you get into the market. So the biggest problem with a lot of people is that they don't earn enough. So what you need to do is, and I've said this 1,000 times, I don't get too many views on my videos, so I'm going to do a lot of repeating just in case you do watch these videos. So it's going to sound repetitive at times, so just bear with me. I like to touch up on, like, you need to get a high income skill. Try to earn as much as you can. If you have a low income skill, you're going to be working a lot more hours. If you have a high income skill, you're going to work high hours, but you're going to have more time to do things on your off time because you're not spending a whole lot of times with two, 3 jobs. So try to get a skill that you can earn at least 70K and above. Well, I'm gonna say 80K and above. Set your standards high. Um, Actually, while we're on the subject, man, I'm gonna talk about how I was actually homeless after I got out of the military. So when I got out of the military, I got married after because we did get divorced. So once we get divorced, that's when things started really going down. Like, if you guys are familiar with the red pill space, I mean, a lot of people are. Shit, I would say a lot of people, most people aren't, but like we call it zeroed out. So once you get zeroed out, which means it can mean a lot of different things. It could mean divorce to some people. It could mean losing a job, going into debt that you can't really pay off within 5 years. So zeroed out, I was zeroed out at around 26, 27 years old, somewhere around that. Can't remember, but it was definitely around 2014, 2015. So at this time, um, I'm not going to go into too much detail, but I'm going to say that I was living in my car for a little bit, for a good week. I had enough money to stay in a hotel. That didn't work because I got bed bugs. So then I had to really start reaching out to people to sleep on their couch, because it was actually during the wintertime. So a lot of people don't know this, man, but this is uh this is what it takes. So if you if you have men in your life and they don't ask for help, they wait till damn near death before they ask for help, and that's what I did. So when I finally did, things started going my way very, very slowly, but I was making aggressive moves. So I am a veteran. So what I did was, I got a job at the bowling alley. I got because I knew the manager at the bowling alley, so they hired me as a pin spotter mechanic for $10 an hour as a C mechanic, and I have skills with working with my hands. So um, and I had knowledge about bowling. So it's not an easy job to get if you don't know anybody, because they didn't see they're not going to see your resume. It's really hard to get a job if you just send a resume, and you really got to go out there and talk to people. Um, and then I applied for the GI Bill to work at the barber college. So I got about 1,500 a month plus my 30 plus hours at the bowling alley. And then I still wanted to bowl. So I mean, you gotta you gotta figure out a way to work as many hours as you can, make as much money as you can, and satisfy your life outside of work, so you don't go crazy. So what I did, I still bowl. I still like to bowl, but I couldn't really afford to. So what I did was, I tried to. I actually learned how to drill my own equipment, and I joined the pro shop for a little bit. Started drilling my own balls. I think that lasted about 8 months, um, because I jumped into another field where I was doing cable. So there was actually at one point where I was bringing in three streams of income, and it still didn't get me over 40K a year, but I was still surviving. So that's all you have to do when you're zeroed out. You just have to survive just long enough to where you get a good break that you can excel from there. So I got the cable gig because I knew somebody from my previous job who was a manager, and he knew my work ethic, so he reached out to me. So that's what I did. I started doing cable. Now, this was the hard part because doing cable was definitely not my wheelhouse. I had to do a lot more talking. This was more customer service based, so I had to learn a new skill. I had to learn how to talk and how to sell the service and perform good work under people that are not the nicest people in the world. So I had to deal with a lot of people that were always stressed out. That like these are the types of people, and I'm talking about the customers. Like the customer is always right. So if you're a service person, they always treat service members or like customer service like crap. So I recommend that everybody at least do customer service for a year to understand how the world works from both sides of the fence. So Um, that will give you that is a red pill, because people don't understand the stress that it is to deal with different personalities a day, and that's basically your job. So, but I was terrible. Like my cable skills was terrible for the first 8 months. So this is what I'm talking about. Like, you got to do what's necessary. You have to do what's necessary for an elongated period of time. So, and that's what I did. We're gonna change this. Please like the video, you assholes. God damn it. Uh, I understand that Facebook is more of a scrolling app, so I'm not gonna get a lot of retention on there. YouTube, they're not pushing any of my videos. So you're a bunch of crockheads. And then X, let's see what's going on X. What's happening on X? X is more like X is almost like Facebook, except a little more right leaning, I would say. Yeah, if you're left leaning on X, man, you're just gonna get cooked. You're gonna get freaking burnt up, man. Trying to comment on here, um, because I'm a little more honest on X, man. I say what is on my mind. Come on, man. Where's the engagement? So, damn it, I just lost my train of thought. I'm drinking a Rockstar right now, so caffeine hasn't actually kicked in. We are 20 minutes in. Like the video, send me a comment, because I like to bounce ideas off of other people's. Damn, why is my man? I hate this chair. Ah, I gotta get a new chair, man. So let me skip ahead because I did very good in cable when I got because I wasn't making enough money in Virginia when I was doing cable, so I couldn't pay the rent. So I was starting to go I was starting to go up. Then I came back down, and my supervisor was keeping me off routes. So, and I was upset about that, but I wasn't upset with him about that, because I knew I wasn't performing to, uh, like I wasn't good enough yet. So when I got to Cleveland, the game had changed, man. Like when I did cable with WoW, all we did was installs. At least for the first 6 months, I was doing installs, so I was making a good 12 to 1400 a week, which is a hell of a lot more money than I was making in Virginia. And then I moved back with my parents. So this is the thing, man. You could say whatever hell you want to say, but when I moved back with my parents, I had no choice. I was single, really wasn't dating, and I was helping them out. My mom was kind of in and out of the hospital, so I wanted to stay close to home, because I wanted to see them every day. You don't know, man. My dad had me late. My mom had me at a she had me at what, 29. I mean, I'd still consider that kind of late, but like, you just don't know how much time left they have. So I decided to stay at the house because I worked 6 days a week anyway. So it's not like I was going to be at home a lot. And I still did train. So anyway, if you are going to be staying with your parents, don't be living off their money, man. You got to earn a living. You got to earn a living, man. I did give them some money once in a while. I had good parents, so they didn't really ask. They didn't really ask. I knew they weren't going to ask, so I just gave them the money. But even now, as a truck driver, I kind of want to get my own place. I can actually afford a house right now if I wanted to, so like no mortgage and shit like that. But I'm just gonna wait, man. I'm gonna play the market. I'm gonna keep as much money in the market as I can. So when I want to buy a house, I'm gonna have enough to buy a house, and then have enough extra for emergency funds and stuff like that, because you just never know what's gonna happen. So that is the mindset situation of it. You always want to prepare. You always want to plan for the best, but have preparations for the worst of situations. So I know how bad things can get very quickly. So like, you don't understand how difficult the jobs that I have had in the past, where I could get hurt, I can lose an eye, I can lose a leg. and now I have to rely on disability, which isn't going to pay enough, and I would hate to be on disability. So this is why I do practice safe. I I am very safe in most situations, but I do like to take risks. So I have to have my ducks in order when things do fall apart. So I have prepared myself for things that may go wrong. I don't believe in spending a whole lot of money on luxurious items like eating out a lot, expensive ass shit. The most expensive thing I bought was my car, but I bought that car under the premise that I already had money to buy it. So I financed it, but I could pay it off. So I've said that plenty of times. Like I don't want to buy anything I can't afford at the time. So I'm not going to be in debt. I do not believe in debt unless you're using it as leverage to make more money. So um, you can write off debt and then have to pay less taxes. So I understand that. So that's the only time I really believe in getting debt, like real estate. You can write that off. So that's how a lot of people. That's how it's like how a lot of millionaires don't have to pay much taxes because they use cash flow from their real estate. So and then you can write that off. I'm not at that point yet, but I would like to be. It just depends. I don't really. If I get to a point where I'm like 45, 50, I don't think getting real estate is going to be for me. I'm just at that point. I'm going to be like sitting on my laurels, like because I've been grinding so hard lately. So what I was going to talk about. So actually, I think it's time for me to react to a video here. So I have a reaction. I got a video here. I'm going to react to. It's a reaction video of a woman talking about how men have it harder in life. Uh, so we're just gonna actually, dude. Streamyard changed a lot. Oh, shit, Streamyard changed a lot since I've been on. We're gonna share our screen. We're gonna talk to this chick, and here we go.
You know, she says men have it way harder in life. So we're gonna see if she gets it all right, if she gets all the answers right on why we men we have it harder. Yeah, I'm gonna maximize this like this.
So let's clear the air about my sentiment about men having harder in life. Okay, now I can actually take accountability and say that that was a very blanket statement and it deserves context and nuance. So I'll give it to you. And I'm going to start with a quote from the philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche that helped me understand my contribution to society and helped me like not victimize myself as much. The quote goes, "He who fights with monsters should be careful lest he thereby become a monster. And if thou gaze long into an abyss, the abyss will also gaze into thee."
Okay.
So I saw a lot of comments saying that, well, why should we feel sorry for men? The patriarchy was literally built for men and by men and is perpetuated. But I think one thing we need to realize is that women also can perpetuate it as well. Yes. So I don't disagree with the sentiment that the patriarchy hurts women, but I think we really fail to realize that it hurts men too, and we do not give them enough compassion.
Yes.
So yes, the struggles that men and women face because of the society are very different, but it doesn't mean our struggles are any worse than theirs. And it's honestly kind of funny because we love to preach community and growth and how this society is so individualistic and that women deserve sympathy and care and that we deserve rights. And that is completely fine. But in the same breath, we tear down men because they don't make enough money. Their job isn't high profile enough. They're too nerdy. They're too much of a gym bro, etc., etc. No.
All right, I'm gonna cut it there. So that was a whole bunch of bologna sandwich, but like she's not wrong. But I would say that the patriarchy does hurt women if they don't pick the right men. So like if you don't pick a masculine man who has his finances in order and who is in shape and who understands the world for what it is, if you don't pick that type of man uh, as a woman, you're going to struggle. So this is what I'm going to say about that. Let me cut that because I think we're good with that video. So there's a lot of hoo-ha on the internet. Who has it worse, men or women? So I'm gonna say both in different situations. So I would say the men struggle is harder on both fronts. So like let's say a successful man and a poor man or an unsuccessful man. unsuccessful man and a successful man. Both their lives are hard because what a man has to do to be successful is hard to do. What a man doesn't do to be successful is still going to live a hard life. So whether you're at the bottom or the top, your life is hard as a man. Now, for a woman, your life is going to be a struggle if you don't pick the right man who's on his way up or is already up there on top. So your life is going to be a lot easier if your mating strategy, if you don't ignore your mating strategy. So like women need to pick a man who is a protector, a provider, and who is competent. So if you don't pick that type of man, you are going to struggle. So this is what I'm going to say. So like as an 18-year-old woman, you should have the easiest time picking the cream of the crop when it comes to mating strategy. Like if you wait till you're 30 and up, it's going to be harder because men typically who are successful want younger women. So now the problem with this sentiment is it wasn't always like this. Usually 18-year-olds would get with 18-year-olds back in the hunter-gatherer days because the things it takes for a man to be successful takes longer to do nowadays because of civilization, the economy. It takes longer to um, understand how the world works because there's more to do as far as like meritocracy. So you need to gain experience, and that takes time to do. As a woman, as an 18-year-old, you could walk into the doors and meet millionaires right off bat. So it takes us time to become millionaires. So that's what people don't understand. And I'm not saying that an 18-year-old should go date a 36-year-old. I'm not saying that, but I'm telling you that um, when an 18-year-old dates in her age range, like between 18, 24, that man is not ready to be a provider. I can guarantee you that most men aren't. Um, because men have to explore, they have to dominate, they have to conquer before they lock down a family. So um, that's what I'm going to say. It's pretty much evil psych 101. Like if you don't understand that by now, I really can't help you. Um, I can tell you this though, me at 38 versus 28 is a completely different monster, man. I really don't give two shits what people think about me, but at the same time, I have to understand how to present myself in front of people that are respectful. So when I see people below me, and I'm gonna say that because I've earned that because I've done a lot in my life to where um, I know how to get out of debt. I know how to learn a new skill. If I were to lose my trucking skill today, I would figure something out. I actually have some backup plans in the work, so I'm working on some stuff. But because I don't plan on being a truck driver forever. Um, Honestly, if you're a truck driver and you have been a truck driver for 10 years or more, man, and I'm not saying this for Gen X or boomers. Well, boomers they shouldn't be working right now, but like Gen Xers, like if you're a millennial or a Gen Z, you should not be in the truck driving field for more than 10 years because that's how long it takes you to invest. So if you were to invest like 30% of your money, your earned income into like stocks or Bitcoin, you could leave the workforce after 10 years. And if you're aggressive like me, you can leave sooner. So um, they don't want you to know that though. No one's going to push that because they need you to work. So, I mean, it's up to you, man. You just got to go out there and learn. Um, that's one of my biggest problems too, man. I will say something. I will start talking about one thing and it'll fork me off into another subject. And I just forgot what the hell I was talking about. But, oh yeah, the struggles between men and women. So, so women struggle if they don't find the right, if they don't mate select properly. So this is why men are very important in their daughters' lives because they know what to look for. They can tell when a man is a bullshitter, and they can tell a man is good for short term or long term. So they're gonna most likely pick a powerful man, like who's good with his family, who understands how life is. So versus the guy who's gonna end up in jail as a drug dealer. So like I don't understand. Uh, well, I do understand. I just don't get why it's really hard to put into words the mate selection between the two because men are put on earth to spread their seed, so it doesn't matter who they choose as long as um, they don't commit to the wrong woman. So, but there's a contradiction there because you don't want to put your seed in a woman who's gonna take you to the court and take all your earnings. So uh, that is another situation that I won't get into right now. I would have to bring on somebody who could talk about that, who's gone through that situation. So I'm almost done with my rock star. But yeah, even right now, man, I'm struggling. Like the struggle is real. Like if you're too comfortable, you shouldn't be. Like as a man, you should never be too comfortable because someone can come in, like a lightning bolt can just come crashing down in your house anytime. So, um, but yeah, the things that take to make a successful man takes time. Takes That's why we say the sexual market peak value of a man starts peaking around 35, 36. Now it we don't start declining. This is okay. So this is where fitness takes place. The more in shape you are, the longer you're going to be attractive to the opposite sex. So as a man, you want to be physically attractive as well as socioeconomically attractive, which means um, your friend group, your friend circle, your money, your situation with your money. So I'm going to take a different direction here. So with men, we're attracted to looks. We don't most the men at the top, the people that are ambitious are not attracted to your degrees or the money you earn. Now, people don't understand what we mean by that. That means we don't care about your ambition as long as you're not a lazy sack of shit living off the government. So, and look, it's okay for a grown woman to live with her parents as long as she's doing some kind of work. If she's single, as long as she's working, providing for her. If she has kids, she's got to provide for her kids, so she has to work. She has no choice if she's single. So uh, now, if you're like a career woman and you get into a relationship with a guy who makes more money than you, this is where it gets kind of dicey because now you have two incomes. Like let's say if the woman makes 50K and the man makes 100K a year. Now you combine those incomes, you got 150K coming in each year. So now you guys have been in a long-term relationship, and now you're living off that 150K a year. Um, so now, if the woman loses her job, the guy is responsible for providing for a lifestyle he can't afford now because you're not working. So this is my stance. I feel like I'm gonna say that if a man's gonna make a certain amount of money, make sure you can provide a lifestyle that you can provide for without her income. That is the trick. The money that she makes is her money. I would like she can do whatever the hell she wants with that money as long as she's not milking. As long as her financial decisions are not affecting the man. So if she's going out getting into a whole bunch of debt, man, that is something you got to have a talk with her about. Because once she's in debt, now she doesn't have money to cover that debt, and now you're responsible for that, and now you can't provide a lifestyle because she's in a crazy amount of debt. So like you got as a man, you got to really pay attention to those situations. So honestly, I don't care if I don't. I'm more of a traditional person. I'd rather not have my chick work, but if she wants to, she can, as long as it just doesn't get in the way of a relationship. Um, for me personally, I have a whole lot of things that I could have her do to help earn income that I'm not doing now because I'm working like 70 plus hours a week. So it's really hard for me to do. I'm not going to go too much in depth with that, but like once I get to a certain point with my finances, I'm gonna slow it down a little bit and then work on my side stuff, and then I'll be able to bring in. Um, I'll be able to work on my side hustle. But yeah, that's my stance on that. Like I think I had a comment a couple months ago, like talking about like uh somebody kind of challenged me on my thoughts of like having a stay-at-home wife or girlfriend or whatever who doesn't have kids. So like, what's she gonna do if she doesn't have kids? So well, she could do anything. Like, what the hell, if I didn't have a job, what the hell do you think? I wouldn't be sitting around, man. I'd be going to the gym. I would be networking with people. I would be working on my craft. I am a photographer, artist. So there is a lot of things you could do when you're not working. And if you're a woman who has a man who's bringing in cheese, there's a lot you can do for him while he's at work. And there's a lot to do. There's no sitting around unless you're like hella tired. But what else was I gonna get into, man? See, this is why I need an active chat so you guys can keep me. Let's see, what else was I was gonna talk about? See, basically, I did talk about that. Whoa. Okay, I got another video I can react to. Make sure you guys like the video. Send me a chat so I can read it on screen. Yeah, I am. Let's see. I'm going to have to click off Twitter right now. I want to save me some bandwidth. So we are going to end it on Twitter. We've been going for 41 minutes. So we're gonna end the stream on Twitter. So come over to YouTube. We're still streaming on Facebook and YouTube. So come over to YouTube. My Twitter ninjas. Let's go. What the fudge? Okay. Okay, now we are on YouTube and Facebook right now. So yeah, we're gonna react to this short video here. God, it's so bright. I decided to do this in the dark with my floodlights, and the lights are really destroying my eyeballs right now. I should wear sunglasses. What day is it? It's 4th. It's look, man, people get pissed at me, but I be serious when I say this. Like, I really do like the winter better. I like colder temperatures. I like to feel cold and then walk into a warm room, whereas I don't like to feel sweaty and hot walking into a colder room, if that makes sense. You could definitely get sick like that, but like, you just have to manage your temperature levels when that happens. But I like winter more. I like sleep. Like, when I'm in my truck, I don't turn the heat on. I'll let it warm up a little bit, then I'll turn the truck off, and then I'll wait till it gets too cold, then I'll turn the heat on. So I like to sleep in the cold. I like to train in the cold. I'll just like cold. Not saying that I hate summertime. I like summertime because I can wear my my certain outfit that is lighter, so I can do I can see the body of work that I mastered during the wintertime, and it converts to the summertime, which is crazy. So I am trying to find this. Okay. Here we go. Okay, we're going to react to a video from whatever podcast. This was about a year ago. Now it's going to... Okay. I've been seeing this type of chatter on the socials like Twitter, X, comments. Just a lot of feminists like to talk about toxic masculinity, emotional intelligence. I am definitely going to debunk all that stuff right now. So let's do it. We're gonna react to whatever podcast, and it's labeled "Feminist Gets Destroyed After Learning Toxic Masculinity Isn't Real."
Toxic masculinity.
You don't know what that is.
I don't think there's such a thing. Oh Lord.
He wants
Well, let
to
me-
get into debates right now.
It's too late.
Let me
to get into this.
No, we can get into it. Let me qualify my statement a bit here. So I don't believe in adding toxic before the term masculinity or before the term femininity.
Okay, so I'm going to stop it right there. So this is the problem with adding the word toxic to masculinity and femininity. Like, it just doesn't make sense. You're completely, it just doesn't make sense when you say that. So when you say toxic femininity, femininity means you're feminine, docile, quiet. So what does that mean when you put toxic in front of it? I mean, it just eliminates the concept of femininity. So you don't need to put toxic in front of masculinity or femininity. So it just doesn't make sense, because the things that make masculine men toxic isn't that doesn't it just is, you're just toxic. It doesn't make you. There's no such thing as toxic masculinity or femininity. So a person that just does toxic things is just a person who does toxic things. So we're gonna go on with it.
There are just toxic people. I don't subscribe to this idea of toxic masculinity. There are toxic men, there are toxic women, there are toxic people.
Mm-hmm.
Do you disagree?
I do, because toxic masculinity is a term for the toxic men that utilize it.
Is there toxic femininity? Is that the thing?
Probably, but I wouldn't know what it constitutes. Like, I can't think of it off the top of my head. But
So I'm going to give an example of a woman who does something toxic, but so you can't really see. It's really hard to explain that, because there's no such thing as toxic femininity. There's just a woman who does bad things to a man. So, like, I don't know, like, let's say a man just lost his job for 2 weeks. He can't pay the bills, so a woman cheats on the man. Is that toxic femininity, or is that just cheating? Because feminine women don't really cheat, so you don't put toxic in front of femininity, because that just doesn't make any sense. So it would be the same thing with toxic masculinity. So if a man hits a woman because, I don't know, she dropped his PlayStation, that's not toxic masculinity. If he hits her, that's just a man losing his shit. I mean, it's wrong, but it's not toxic masculinity. It's just bad behavior. I mean, you could use the word toxic. The reason why they use toxic is to exaggerate the term and come out to make masculinity seem bad. Like, masculinity is a term for men who are just masculine. When you put toxic in front of it, it kind of like it restructures the thinking of the female hindsight to thinking that strong men are dangerous, and strong men should be dangerous. We should be capable of violence. So the problem is they think that violent men should be punished just because they're masculine, because they can't lock that masculine man down and control him. You're not going to be able to control a masculine man because he has his house in order. So you just can't. If you like, I think that's why they came up with that term, is because they can't control a man that has frame. So I want to see what else. Because I didn't watch this clip, so I want to see what else they say.
toxic masculinity in like this example is when they're taught to like stray away from their emotions, like not express them, keep it to yourself. Like, you're a man, don't be a pussy, like hold it in, like don't cry. That's what I mean. And I feel like that's when we see it. Honestly, I think it's a root of like a lot of problems, including that, because they just don't know how to express their feelings, and a lot of stuff builds up, and then they get scared, like, oh, she might actually be a good girl, she might really heal me, but wait, like, no, I'm like not ready for that.
And
You get what I'm saying?
I think that is generational. Like, from the very beginning of time, men were the warriors, the knights, the people fighting, and men or women were
the gatherers, the
dainty
nurturers.
gatherers,
Yeah.
birth givers, all that stuff. And that really carries on because ideals and, like ideals are passed down. Like, so your parents, obviously, who raise you, are going to put their ideas on you. And then it's like that effect.
But okay, so I'm going to ask the table. So do you guys believe in toxic masculinity? Just show of hands. Eric, if you want to just put it. Okay. Do you
I'm
guys...
on the fence because of what you said.
So the women that raise their hands that they believe in toxic masculinity, that's just the correlation to that is they have had a man do something that they can control. So they probably had a man who didn't do something that didn't like. So like toxic masculinity is just a term used by feminists or just like women that they can't control, basically.
Okay.
That's just one way to interpret it.
So if you believe in toxic masculinity, then do you believe in toxic femininity?
Yes.
Show of hands again.
But how do you-
at least...
Now, so I'm going to say this. Hold on. So the women that come onto these podcasts, like whatever and Fresh and Fit, they're not used to talking about these subjects because they don't have to. They don't know what it takes to attract a woman in the lens of a man. So let me explain. The things that a man has to do to attract women is not conceived. This is just they don't understand what we have to do to attract them. They think attraction just happens because it just happens for them. So women when they get out of bed, they don't even have to do any makeup. They'll get out of bed and get attention from men immediately. That doesn't happen for us. We have to put the work in to earn our place. Now so I'll say this, like when you're in like middle school, high school, even college, it's probably easier for a man to get short-term dating options, but it's going to be harder for them to retain because they're not at their highest earning potential. So actually, I think we're done with this clip. Let's so the problem with the dating market right now is that women are kind of dating, they're dating like this, like the women are dating up as far as attraction or resources. So women like to date up, and then women or men, they don't care. They can date down. So as far as like their money and look. So a man will date anyone as long as they're like feminine. And if they're not, they'll still date them short term. So women don't understand the difference between a man who is dating you for short term or long term access. So I think that's why men undervalue themselves and women overvalue themselves, because a lot of women get a lot of attention online just because. Let's just face it, men are always horny. We have high testosterone, where like we have 17 times the amount of T levels than women do. So we are going to be aggressive in our search for mates. Some of us, like me, can turn it off because I'm so focused on my finances. And I'm not gonna sit here and bullshit and say that I don't have time to date. I have plenty of time to date. I just like to spend my time reading books. I have books behind me. Like I have a whole. I can't even show you my books right now because it's in a tote and it's heavy as hell, and I'm not in a position to use my legs. So we're not gonna throw it back out and show you. But we have like at least 40 books in this tote. Actually, I was gonna reference a book over here that I love. That I love to go back and forth to. But yeah, since we talked about toxic masculinity, we're going to talk about emotional intelligence, which is kind of a loose term that people like to use. So what is emotional intelligence? Nobody says that. The only people that say that is feminine men and women. So emotional intelligence is just a term that feminists like to use because they think that men aren't in control of their emotions. So why don't they just say stoic? Like stoicism is the closest thing I can think of to explain emotional intelligence. Like there's no such thing as being intelligent about your emotions. All it is emotional control. Um, so when I hear that, I'm like, oh God, really? This is who I'm dealing with? So stop saying emotional intelligence because men don't emote emotions like women. Women are going to lead with their emotions while men are going to lead with logic. Now, I am speaking generally, so understand that when I speak generally. I don't really. If I speak for myself, I'll say I'll say my experience, whatever. But I'm speaking mostly. I'm speaking in generalities uh, because we need to operate in general. That's how the world works. So um, let me change this camera angle. Hey, okay, so let me bring up the definitions of stoicism. Stoicism. So, for those who are not aware of stoicism, Jesus, man, they AI is so ridiculous. We're not going to AI. We're going to Wikipedia. So we're gonna share a screen because I want you guys to see what I'm reading. They changed around StreamYard since I've been gone. I haven't been gone that long. Like I had to do a whole shit ton of updates. Yo, so check this out. This is why oh my God. To get off subject for a minute. So the other day, um, so we have a 6 o'clock morning unload. Like that's when they're supposed to be there to unload a truck. So the reason why I'm always on time is because I get there in an extremely crazy amount of time, so I'm not late. So I had to park at a rest stop, which is like 15 minutes away from the store, or so I thought. I actually put the wrong address into the GPS. I put it was in a completely different city, but not that far away to where I couldn't get to the store on time. So I got up at let's see, I got up at 4:45, started my clock, did my 15-minute pre-trip, and then I left at 5 o'clock. And then technically, I got to the address at 5:15 because it's a 15-minute drive, no traffic in the morning. And then I was like, dude, it led me to the middle of nowhere, and I was like, oh, let me check my GPS, and I was in the wrong city, so I put the right GPS in, 26 minutes away. So I got there at about 5:50, 5:50ish, and I was still on time. I got there, actually I got there before they did, so I was still on time. So, and the reason why I say that is I always expect things to go wrong. I mean, I don't. I hope for things to go right, but I prepare for things to go. I prepare for the worst. So with the situation with this, I haven't streamed in a while, and I wanted to set my stream for 1 o'clock, and I was about 5 minutes late. But I had to deal with camera issues. I had to deal with updates, and I had to set up to everything. So I wasn't really super prepared, but I started preparing at about 11 o'clock. That gave me about 3 hours to prepare for this stream. So the people that understand podcasting, like some of us, we start earlier than I mean we don't. If we start streaming at 1 o'clock, it's not like we sat down and started streaming at 1 o'clock. We did several hours of preparing for this stream. So I had to get my notes in order. I had to make sure I had the right links to any kind of videos that I had to share. I had to make sure my audio was good. I always check my audio, my mics, because you don't know what's going to go wrong. So it took me 3 hours to get ready for this stream, dude. And you're talking about a streamer who has like 0 viewers. So like you can understand my pain. We're going to start sharing the shit. Okay. But, okay, Stoicism is the school of Hellenistic philosophy that flourished in ancient Greece and ancient Rome. The Stoics believe that the practice of virtue is enough to achieve excuse me, to achieve demonia. I can't say that word. A well-lived life. The Stoics identified the path to achieving it with life practicing the four cardinal virtues in everyday life: prudence, fortitude, temperance, and justice, as well as living in accordance with nature. It founded in ancient Agora of Athens by Zeno of Citium around 300 BC. That's 300 years before Christ. Alongside Aristotle's ethics, the Stoic tradition forms of the major founding approaches to virtue ethics. The Stoics are especially known for teaching that virtue is the only good for human beings, that external things such as health, wealth, and pleasure are not good or bad in themselves, but have value as material virtue to act upon. Many Stoics, such as Seneca and Epictetus, Epictetus, dude, I can't say that shit. Emphasize that because virtue is sufficient for happiness, a sage would be, dude. Oh my god. Oh, sorry about that. I got distracted by something. Virtue is sufficient for happiness. A sage would be emotionally resilient to misfortune. The Stoics also believe that certain no wonder they use emotional intelligence. They don't know what the fuck stoicism is. Okay. The Stoics also believe that certain destructive emotions resulted from errors of judgment, and people should aim to maintain a will called phroiaces, prohierses. That is okay. So, just get off subject a little bit. So, this is why reading a book. This is why I prefer reading a book versus audio, because it actually gets your brain to think. Like, there's words that you're not going to be able to pronounce, so it's going to cause you to think on that word. So when you come across a word that you can't really say, it makes you it should make you curious, and then have you look that word up, and now you know a new word. So this is why I prefer reading a book versus audio, because audio does it for you. So why put the effort into learning a new word? So that's my take on that. So where am I? That is in accordance with nature. Because of this, the Stoics thought the best indication of an individual's philosophy was not what a person said, but how the person behaved. To live a good life, one had to understand the rules and nature orders, since they believed everything was rooted in nature. Um, so basically, what that is being able to control the nature of violence, because men are. That's this is how I am going to. This is how I'm going to deconstruct Stoicism. So, men are inherently violent. They have to be. That's how they survive. That's how they protect their young, their mates. So, by being stoic, they have to control their um, violent nature, so that they don't hurt their children or put their family at risk. Because you have to know when to strike your enemy versus letting your enemy in the house strike you first. So like you have to have a plan, basically. So when uh, when women say emotional intelligence, that just means that um, that you don't they want you to understand how they feel, and that's not, a lot of times it's not gonna, it's gonna be hard for us to do that, because we don't feel like we don't feel like men, or we don't feel like women feel. That's just not in our nature. Can we? We can. It's going to sound like pandering, and women aren't attracted by men who pander to them. So it's very tricky, man. Understanding female nature, you got to understand what to give them. Um, because they'll ask for something and then it'll backfire because it just goes against your male nature. So uh, keep that in mind, folks. So there's nothing wrong with being stoic. Just don't be too stoic. You want to show some kind of emotion. If you don't show enough emotion, it just comes out as if you don't care. So my lips are getting red. So it's because I'm drinking fruit punch. Yo, like the video, goddammit. Oh my god, like the video. I'm begging you for likes. We don't get put in the algorithm. Like, they don't care. We get, ooh, god damn it. Okay. We're going to react to a video that is, Chris Williamson. So let's hope. Oh, yeah, we're going to go back to the toxic masculinity thing because, history playlists. We are going to react to a video that Chris Williamson did with a guest of his. The guest is William Costello. Okay, so I haven't watched this video yet. We're not going to watch the whole thing. I'm just going to watch a little bit, and I'll watch the rest of it later. I don't want to spend a whole stream on this, but they are talking about the Netflix Adolescence, and I am going to be going in on this because I watched this show, and God, look, man, I want everybody to comment in there and let me know if you are. Well, you don't have to. I really don't want. Never mind. But like, if you guys have any RP stories, man, I would like to have you come on stream and share your first RP awakening. Because ever since mine, I can't watch videos and I can't watch movies and TV shows the same, man. Like, I'm like, why is this guy doing this? Why is this woman not understanding this? Why? Like, it's really hard. It's hard to enjoy a movie that is going against the female and male imperative. Like, that is why this is why this fascinates me. It doesn't really piss me off. It just fascinates me. Like people get it wrong. Like, do you understand? Like, the guy that you're dating, like, he'll be the death of you because this guy's not. He's low ambition, low T level. But instead, they like that. Actually, that's one thing I learned recently. Like, women love men they hate. Like, don't get it twisted, man. Like, when a woman says she hates somebody, like, she actually, that's the kind of that's the kind of man they sleep with. So, now there's two different types of hate. There's attraction, and there's just despise. Like a woman, a woman can despise her husband, but not be attracted to him. And there's another instance where a woman can despise and hate her husband, but still be attracted to him. So what I mean by that is a man who's just like so fucking beta that he doesn't do anything for the woman to arouse her. Like, he just expects to have her body without putting in the work to do it, which is, I mean, you can argue both sides. Like, she has a duty, but like, do you really want a woman to be sexual with you because it's her duty, or do you want her to be sexual with you because she desires you? So I think that's what a lot of men get wrong, is like, they don't put in the work. Like, and when I mean put in the work, I mean, like, understanding your place. Like, does she have to tell you to do certain things, or do you just do it without her having to tell you? So, and I mean, like, you know, having your finances in order, leading, like if you guys go out to somewhere and you guys want to eat, you guys always have this argument, like, what do you want to eat? What do you want to eat? Like, you should already know where to go. You should already have the plans. And those are the kind of things that women get turned off by, and they hate you and they don't want to sleep with you. there's other things like a man who is constantly berating her woman. She's always yelling. I mean, he's always yelling. He's always doing some like he's talking to other women, stuff like that that women hate that men do, but they still sleep with them because that's attraction. So those are the types of things that I think men get twisted. Like they don't understand. A woman can hate you and still be attracted to you, and she'll hang on that for years instead of like a man who's not who lost attraction, and she's either cheating or she's on the way out. So like I think that's where men get confused. So like I understand what I understand what women say when they're attracted to men. The difference is what they're aroused by. So those are two completely different things. So we're going to react to this video here. I like Chris Williamson. Some of his takes are pretty. They're not. It's just it's interesting. Some of his takes, like I don't understand how people like disagree with the red pill. Well, I'm gonna have to explain what the RP is. So I'll get to that in a minute. Here we go. This is Chris Williamson's channel, and I think it's a good channel. He gets on pretty good guests, and he knows how to interview guests in this space. So like that's really a lot of what I've seen on his channel is probably I'd say it's good. So
is adolescence a bit too real?
So Adolescence is this Netflix show that's absolutely blowing up and getting crazy amounts of attention at the moment. It's on track to.
If you haven't seen Adolescence, I liked it, but I didn't like the message. I thought the acting was very good. The one of my favorite scenes, my favorite episode was the third episode where he was talking to the psychologist. Man, that was a powerful scene, and I might break that down. We'll see how far I go into the stream.
To become Netflix most watched miniseries of all time, and that's just within a couple of weeks. So it's really capturing public attention. And one caller into a radio station that I heard from England this morning said that it hits home too much. It's a little too real. And this kind of left me floundering a little bit because, okay, creative people who are making a show, I'm not going to hold their feet to the fire. They have creative license. They can make a show and depict whatever they want. But we just need to hit pause a second, because if this show is prompting roundtable discussions with Parliament, with the Prime Minister, which it has, and the Parliament are going to fund this show being shown to every student in the UK throughout the next couple of months, all within a couple of weeks of it airing, by the way, then I think we're entitled to maybe scrutinize the realism or the realistic nature of the show, or how much it depicts accurately the problem it's talking about. And on that front, then, you can ask the question, how realistic is this problem? So let me just be very clear. There is no epidemic of manosphere-inspired violence like depicted in the show. Unlike, however, the epidemic of knife violence, which is a very real phenomenon and perhaps is more tightly tied to drill music, for example. That is a very real problem. So on that front, it absolutely is not realistic of the problem it's painting. I commented that the show depicts a plausible narrative of how a tragedy like this might unfold. And I stress the word might there because there has been no tragedy like the show depicts. There has been
a fictional boy stabbing a fictional girl in a fictional series.
There has been no 13-year-old white kid who's getting good grades in school, not causing much trouble, suddenly going and stabbing a girl. When I say
exclusively because of incel manosphere content coming from a good family, blah, blah, blah.
Exactly. So when I say that the show depicts something plausible, here's what I mean. So it, instead of depicting a cold-blooded psychopathic killer, and it's up for debate whether Jamie, the boy in the show, is meant to be depicted as a psychopath. I tend to think no, but there may be some reason to think yes. But it doesn't depict this cold-blooded, calculated killer who's and the show doesn't claim to have a straight line answer that it definitely was the manosphere influence that made this happen. It kind of skillfully, I think, presents a couple of potentially contributing factors. In any case, it presents a young boy, Jamie, who's depicted as being very insecure about giving the
Fair use.
impression to others that he's sexually successful. And that's kind of recognizable to a lot of sexually developing young males. That's a big...
So this is weird. I don't know why they would use incel as it relates to like a 13-year-old boy, because most men or most kids that age aren't really sexually active at that age. So like to call someone an incel at that age, it's, I don't know what they don't know what the hell they're talking about. And incel doesn't exist. Like you can go pay a hooker. Like incel means involuntary celibate. So that basically means that you don't have a choice to be celibate. But you can always, like, sex, you can, I mean, unless you're broke as hell and you can't even pay for it, but like, it just, how many people actually identify with it? I think there's less incels than there are transgender. Like that's why is that a thing? Like it's so uncommon, and they're making a big deal out of it. But like most people aren't gonna have sex. Like, well, I'm not gonna say most people. There's gonna be a certain amount of people that aren't going to have sex because they just don't have this selectivity. There aren't. A lot of them are like just mentally not like I don't give shit for women for selecting the men that they do, because as men you have to provide some kind of value. So whether it's looks, socioeconomic status, or finances, like it's got to be one of those or all three. You got to provide some kind of value to get sexual access to women. That's just the way nature is. So, but yeah.
concern of theirs, and that's how you derogate.
And a 13-year-old boy doesn't provide anything. He hasn't gone through manhood yet. So like, I understand that teen, like, because women or kids like go through girls go through puberty a little sooner than men. Like, it's because they're more fertile when they're younger. So like, we're just gonna say 18. So between 18 and 24 are the most fertile years of a woman. So they have to propagate a society in their most fertile years as soon as they can, because the younger you do it, the more healthy your children will be. So actually, we're gonna get into that. What? Oh yeah, we're gonna get into that. Hold on.
Other rival males, young men always derogate each other in that way. He has his masculinity challenged by the girl he ends up killing. Actually, I should say, spoiler alert.
Yep.
But I think everyone in the world has seen this show by now. So the girl he ends up killing, I think it was actually bold.
I didn't want to watch this damn show, but I had to because a lot of people in the manosphere was watching it and they were reacting to it. So I decided to watch it. It was actually not that bad, but through a red pill lens, it's like, wow, they shat on men, and they shat on Andrew Tate. And I'm a pretty big supporter of Andrew Tate. I understand the message. I understand some of the stuff that he says is actually what a lot of men think inside the locker room. He's basically using locker room talk. And then people just like the people that are talking bad against Andrew Tate don't understand what he had to do to survive. So a lot of men like that. So I'm not going to say that I'm perfect. A lot of things that I had to do to survive, I guarantee you a lot of people wouldn't agree with. So that's just, you guys, a lot of people don't understand what men have to do to survive. So when you get to a certain level of success, then you start speaking your mind a lot more. Kind of like I am. I'm starting to see a little more success. So I'm more I'm more convicted to my beliefs now because I've done the work and I've seen what works. So when you do the work and it works, then you start trying to help other people. That's kind of what I'm doing. Um, but yeah,
Of the creators of the show, the writers, to write in that she was bullying him online, calling him an incel. And I thought that was important because it shows that whether or not you buy into being an incel at age 13, I mean, every 13-year-old boy is probably an incel. But whether or not you've bought into the ideology, it depicts that this being on the table as an insult kind of affects you, and the pressure that Jamie feels to present himself as sexually successful is probably exacerbated by consuming manosphere content, right? Incel is the insult of choice. It depicts that social.
I don't know. So this is why I really wanted somebody who is a parent to come on stream and talk about this because um I'm single at a time where parents are where this stuff is starting to go mainstream. Like Red Pill has been around for 20 years, more than 20 years, and now it's just starting to get on mainstream. So like I've been RP aware for the last at least 6, 7 years. People are now starting to talk about it. Like, where the hell have you guys been? And like how do you keep this stuff from your children? Because they're not supposed to. They're supposed to go out and experience this stuff. They're not supposed to know certain things ahead of time. It's kind of like knowing the future. I mean, there's a difference between paying attention to somebody's behaviors and then expecting certain things. So I think men are taught how to treat women, while women are taught what to expect from women. I mean, yeah. Well, let me say it again. Men are taught how to treat women, and women are taught what to expect from men. So yeah, I got that. Um, which is kind of messed up because we treat all women with respect, and we get bit in the ass from it. So like I would say this: you treat people how you think they deserve to be treated. So like if a woman is on Instagram showing her ass, like you're sexualizing yourself, so you're gonna get treated like a sexual object. So as whereas a conservative woman who isn't online showing her ass, she's gonna get treated very respectfully. She's gonna be courted as a wife and not just a one night stand. So it's the same for men. So if a man shows off his wallet, his money, his cars, his lifestyle, a woman is probably going to treat that as a short term. Well, it just depends. It really depends. Because he has the status to provide long term. So it just depends on the woman. Is she a gold digger or is she a wife looking for a provider? So it's really going to depend on that situation. But like she doesn't like a lot of women don't want to go for that because he's showing off his goods, and women just want that for themselves. So it's kind of like it's this is where men and women are different. Men want a conservative woman. He doesn't want to have a woman showing off her goods to everybody. Just like a woman doesn't want a man showing off his resources to everybody. So men and women are attracted to different things, and I think that's what gets mixed up in these egalitarian society. So, but we shall continue with the video.
Social media exacerbates this problem even further because he can see hundreds of classmates liking her comment. It also depicts that he kind of clumsily came upon a knife, which is fairly realistic, and maybe it wouldn't find its way into the hands of a 13-year-old white, well-raised kid. But there are a lot of knives on the ground in England at the moment, and he happened to find in his possession a knife. He didn't intend to, well, as far as my reading of the show goes, he didn't intend to go out and kill the girl. He intended to confront her about this challenge, this insult to his masculinity, and having the knife, things got way out of hand. So that's what I mean when I say it.
This is so weird because you're talking about a 13-year-old kid. Masculinity doesn't. It takes time to become your masculine. Like it takes time for a man to become in his masculine. So at 13, he's just learning that he has pubes. Like come on, man. Like, I think this is what the TV show gets wrong. Like, I think they wanted to hit a demographic of people to be aware of what's wrong with toxic masculinity. They want you to know. Um, they want you to be. They want you to be afraid of this behavior. Um, that can be instilled in younger kids because of people like Andrew Tate who get a lot of influence over the youth. When really he's talking about men of age. Like the reason why the youth have come across this content is because the internet is open source. So not sure why they're watching this type of stuff. They don't really understand the male burden of performance at that age. They don't understand that they're the leaders. This generation is brought up on 50-50 relationships, which is a crock of shit. At least what I have seen. Like, all you got to do is really pay attention. Like, women don't really respect their equal. Like, how can they? Like, if I make 60K a year and she makes 50K a year, like, she's probably still going to have more control of the finances than you do, even though you make just a little bit more than her. Whereas if you make 58% more than her, you have more control over your house than she does. So it really depends, man. Like, when you make a certain amount of money, you're going to be very very in control of your finances. At least I would think so. But let's see what else.
It's plausible, but in terms of a depiction of the epidemic of knife violence in this country, in the UK, which is specifically what the writers of the show have spoke about in interviews where they talk about what inspired the show, they talk about two specific instances, and then they go on to talk about the epidemic of knife violence. So on that front, it's not representative of prototypical knife violence in the UK. To bring in the racial demographics as well, it's not typical of the scale of the manosphere problem. Like I say, there's never been a killing like this. There's been one killing with Jake Davison that's loosely tied to incel ideology, very different in nature to what's depicted in Adolescence. And in terms of manosphere fans, it's also not really representative because ethnic minorities are actually way represented in their admiration of manosphere guys.
How so?
So, and specifically, how much do you admire Andrew Tate? I think it was like 12% of rates of approval among white boys, and that rose for Asian. And I should say in the UK, Asian means South Asian, not East Asian. And then for black boys, it was much, much higher. I can't remember the specific statistics, but the study is from the Institute for Strategic Dialogue, who are actually quite a progressive, almost you'd say woke organization. So for them to actually publish those findings tells you something. So that's kind of an interesting, the way it's depicted. Now, like I say, with creative license, I'm not going to hold Stephen Graham.
We're gonna turn the speed up on this. Hold on. We're gonna do it at 150, 1.5.
Feet to the fire. He chose Owen Cooper, who's an incredible actor, and his performance speaks for itself. Anyone would want to cast him in the role if you had access to him. Stephen Graham obviously probably wanted to play the father himself. He's going to realistically cast someone who looks like him. But I just think we need a bit of perspective. If Parliament are calling the writers of the show in for an emergency roundtable,
I don't even have to look this up. I didn't really look at who wrote it, but I'm willing to believe that a woman wrote this. So, like, that's what a lot of people are complaining about. As far as some of these movies and TV shows go, like, a woman wrote it. So, like, if a woman writes the plot of a show through a female lens, you can tell that they don't understand the male burden of performance, because the things that take a man to get strong, it doesn't happen overnight. It's not given to him. He has to earn it. He has to do the work. He has to get burnt in the fire. He has to pick up hard shit, put it back down, pick it back up again, and run with it. So the things that make a strong man takes time. It takes years. It takes decades. So I think some of the writers that are females don't understand that, and they're not supposed to. It's not their it's not their imperative. They're women. The men come to them. All they have to do is be presentable. So, and this is what I think men need to understand is like once you once you get to a certain point of success, then you have options. And then like if you're like say if you're just coming into your own, if you're like 18, between 18 and 25, and you're a man, you can't get upset that women aren't attracted to you because you haven't done the work. You need to go out and do the work, go conquer, go touch grass, go talk to people, get into rooms with successful people, ask questions. You need to do the work in order to get sexual access from women. So that's what a lot of men are struggling with because they don't want to do the work. They don't want to go outside and learn. They don't want to learn a trade. They just want to sit on the internet and learn about stuff without doing the work. So I have, see, this is the difference between me and them. I did the work, I failed, so I went back into the study room, I learned, and then I went back out and conquered. So now I'm going to repeat the process and try to get into rooms to where I am asking questions. Um, I think that's what makes a man successful is getting into rooms and asking questions to people who have done it before them. There are certain things that I've learned on my own, and I take full responsibility for my actions, like martial arts. And a lot of people don't agree with this, but who taught who taught the first original masters how to do martial arts? Nobody. They had to learn on their own. So what I've done with my martial arts is I've learned a couple of things that people probably don't teach in schools because I learn like I might have to do a whole stream on this, but some of the stuff that I do in martial arts is not uh, legal. I guess I could say like it's not to win a title, it's not to win a championship, it's to survive. So when you watch some of my videos in martial arts, I'm just showing the flashy stuff. I'm an entertainer, but like if I was actually in the mode, if I was in survival mode, uh, my my martial arts styles are not practical in a combat format. When I'm in combat mode, I go for the kill, I go for the throat, I go for the kneecaps. I try to incapacitate you as quickly as possible. Try to conserve energy because I don't know how many people I'm going to have to fight, or I don't know how many fences I'm going to have to climb. So you want to kind of end the fight as soon as possible if you're in combat mode. So um, this is what a lot of people don't understand. Like about the martial arts that I do. I like to do stuff to keep my body fit for a long amount of time. I believe in quality of life and the longevity. So this is why I admire LeBron James as far as longevity. I don't care that he doesn't have 7, 8 rings. I care that he's been doing it longer. So I'd rather live to my 40s and 50s running and climbing and jumping than doing it in my early 20s and then just retiring after that. So I want to live a long and quality life. I don't want to be a 60-year-old in a wheelchair. So that's my take on that. So the only reason I do that martial arts the way I do it is because it's entertaining and it's fun to watch. At least from my perspective. So not to get off subject, but
discussion that's going to, I mean, my reading of it is it seems like it's going to inform policy. We need to be have a bit more perspective there. Policy should be research based. It shouldn't be based on emotive performance art, no matter how powerful that art is.
Yeah, it certainly seems like people are confusing a work of fiction for a documentary.
Yeah, and I will give credit to Jack Thorne, one of the writers of the show. He was interviewed by Sky News after speaking with.
Oh, so it is a man. So he has one. So one of the writers was a man. So probably he's probably a male feminist. I don't know. I'm just speculating. Let's see.
Prime Minister Starmer, and he said, it is important to remember this is just a fiction, and I hope this starts a dialogue and leads to further discussion with people who perhaps have done the research and things like that. But that begs the question of how research-backed was the creation of this show, and if it's not very, then why is it being used as kind of this?
Yes, that's what I was trying to post a little bit while ago when I posted on Facebook. Like they did not do accurate research as it pertains to the manosphere. They got the 80-20 rule wrong. They like Andrew Tate doesn't advocate violence against women. That's not who he is. That's not who the Tates are. You would know that if you actually watch them speak when they're in the presence of women. They don't speak like that. They don't speak very. They don't speak poorly against women unless they do degenerate shit. Like obviously, if you do stupid shit, you're gonna be you're gonna be frowned upon. So that's the nature of the world. You're gonna be judged poorly when you do poor shit. So so they they had the 80-20 rule wrong in the show, so I'm going to read a piece from the Rational Mail. He gets it. He is the first person to talk about the 80-20 rule. So here we go. I might as well share this screen. Here we go. So the 80-20 rule. One of the fundamental ideas of red pill awareness from the earliest PUA, which is pickup artist years, has been 80-20 concept. 80% of women want to have sex and or pair off with the top 20% of men. So this has been a fast and loosely defined in terms of subjective sexual market value between men and women and the racial disparity between the valuations. The intersexual terms, this 80-20 rule find its roots in the economic theory known as the Pareto principle. 80% of your sales come from 20% of your clients. While I'm not sure the principle is directly translatable, it mirrors the general rule of hypergamy and women's innate drive to optimize their sexual strategy with who they perceive as a top tier 20%. Alphas, men, are fucking the 80% lion's share of women. Many despondent beta picks up on the principle and uses this to justify his failures to connect with women. Okay, sorry guys, I am stumbling on these words because this light is blasting in my eyes. I'm of the opinion that the 80-20 rule is often abused to justify men's failures. That is a fact, or successes. So I don't when you got to be careful who's talking about the 80-20 rule. Are they talking about the 80-20 rule as a cope to not do the work to get into the top 20% of men, or are they just showing you the female nature that women want the top 20%? So you got to differentiate the two. So some men use this as information to help get them into the top 20%, while some men just they don't want to do the work. So it's very equivalent to women who don't want to do the work. So we understand that men are physical and creatures. Like we like attraction. We like to be with a physically fit woman. So the women know that, but they don't want to do the work to get in shape. 70% of people are overweight or obese. So you got to think, are they coping? Do they not care? No, they get attraction. They get attention anyway. So it doesn't matter if you're overweight or not. Women get attraction from men. So if you want to get attraction from men who are in the top, top percent, then you got to get in shape, because usually men in the top percent are going to have options. So that's just my observation. Obviously, there is exceptions to the rule, but we're not talking about the exceptions. So, okay, so however, the fundamental notion is both observable and easily verifiable in field, which I was just saying, as well as statistically. It is, however, important to keep in mind that the 80-20 rule, as it applies to hypergamy, is often bastardized in its inverse. The presumption goes that if 80% of women want to have sex with the top 20% of men, it should necessarily mean that the top 20% of men are fucking 80% of women. Many despondent beta picking up the dynamic will use the assumption to disqualify himself from game or giving up and futility. More on this later. Okay. Yeah, I might as well finish this out. Let me blow this screen up a little more. Can you see that? Yeah. Okay. It is important to remember that hypergamy doesn't seek its own level with regard to S and V comparison. So what that means? So hypergamy means that a woman seeks a man of higher status than her. So basically, what she's trying to do, as hypergamy relates to women, she is looking for the best possible option she can find and lock down. So that's hypergamy. Now, when he says that it doesn't seek its own level, it means she doesn't seek like women can't admire a man who is her equal. So like if you're on if a woman's on a man's level like this, she can't like look up to him. She can't really like he can't lead because they're at the same level. So this is why I don't believe in 50-50 relationships, because they're 50-50. And when I say 50-50, I mean like both men and both men and women take out the trash, they do the dishes, they do the laundry, they split the bills. That's what I think people mean by 50-50. But what I mean, or what I think works as far as like the family household, like men have to make the majority of the money, while the woman like that's not her that's not her burden of performance. It's the man's burden of performance to protect and provide. He has to provide more value than the woman. That's how you have a long, successful relationship. We're not going to see. My prediction is we're not going to see a lot of 30, 40-year anniversary like relationships. Like people are. It's going to be very, very brief, which is going to suck for the family unit because the birth rate has already declined. But more into this. So while the red pill's expanded definition of hypergamy encompasses far more than marrying up, the 80-20 sexual selection processes. Look at this, man. So basically, this is the illustration. Can I blow this up anymore? Yeah, that's about it. Okay. So if you're looking at this graph, it's like up here. Hold on. Boom. Okay. Yeah, so the women on top are the hottest and the women on the bottom are not. And all the women are going towards the top, if you can see that. So it's not that the women are getting with the top 20%, they want the top 20%. That's where they get the 80-20 rule wrong in adolescence. So they need to do a little more research, man. Like it's all right here. Okay, so let's see here. Okay, yeah, we already made the point. So he pretty much goes a little bit more in depth on it. So, if you want to read more on this, man, The Rational Male is one of the first books that I read. That is RP. He's basically one of the originators of the space during the Soul Swap days. I wasn't RP aware at the time. I was still in high school around this when he was doing his work. So like his first book came out in 2013. I was actually married at the time. Honestly, I'm glad I didn't reach the RP until now. But it had the effects that it had on me actually helped me become a better person, financially, physically, mentally. So I'm glad I didn't have this information before I made all the mistakes. I made a lot of mistakes in life that now I can tell from personal experience that that if I wouldn't have made those mistakes, then I would have made them I would have made them later in life, and that's not always a good thing. So let's see. We're gonna look at more of this stream here.
benchmark or catalyst to start the conversation, and how useful it will be to show this, to find 4 hours in a curriculum in every school up and down the UK to show this. What will that lead to? Is there evidence to suggest that such an intervention will lead to positive outcomes? I'm not so sure. There's good reason to maybe think that it wouldn't. And I just recently, before I came over here, I've seen that there's a petition has been started to pull the pin in the project. And a couple of the reasons cited seem quite compelling to me. Some of them include that the blame and shame doesn't work, so it'll make the potential people who would be guilty of this crime clam up and reject the intervention. It also will give ideas to people. It makes notoriety towards this type of crime. I mean, that's something I'm very concerned about. So with spree killing like this, like mass shootings, incel violence, notoriety is often a big factor. So if you're suddenly talking about a crime that will get you perhaps a show that is the most watched Netflix show of all time within a couple of weeks, Parliament are going to discuss this problem, it's going to be shown to every school in the UK, that gives notoriety, and that's perhaps will have a backfiring effect.
Yeah, I remember with the United Health CEO shooter that, I don't think it really matters whether you thought he was a appropriate flaming sword wielding truth teller or a person a murderer, just a straight up murderer that wasn't doing anything right. What you can definitely guarantee is that if you create a sex symbol and make an awful lot of attention around someone, everybody that has a cause, and everybody's cause to them is the most important cause, because by definition, it's the most important cause. You are going to end up in a world where people just think, well, if I want to get climate change, or if I want to get immigration, or if I want to get gun control, or if I want to get health C, or if I want to get hypergamy on the table, all I need to do is commit one of these acts of violence and look at how much positive attention I'm going to get, or look at how much attention I'm going to get.
Yeah, absolutely. And there is a reason why incel stories really capture our attention. So it could be actually really dangerous to not fully understand why that's happening and to continue doing this. I mean, I remember when Jake Davison, the incel killer in England, who's loosely tied to incel ideology, his videos were played all over Sky News. And if there is evidence that these extremist killers, mass shooters, they cruise for a cause, and specifically to gain notoriety. There's an Institute for Male Supremacism. They have some guidelines.
Are they pro or anti?
Well, it's always confusing to me that they categorize incels as typifying male supremacism, because incels themselves, they're really keen to stress to you how they call themselves subhuman. They're really keen to show how they're not supremacist. But in any case, they have some guidelines on reporting on incel violence. And one point that I really, really agree with is the no notoriety protocol. You shouldn't make potential heroes or anti-heroes out of these people. And that's perhaps potentially what showing adolescence to every student in the UK perhaps does. It also brings the number of people, it moves those who have never seen the show or never heard of Manosphere from 0 to everyone overnight when you're showing it suddenly. And, I don't know how effective it's going to be.
Is Jamie a good avatar for the typical incel?
There are some ways in which he's not, but I think they do speak to an important point about how, like I said earlier, the incel topic being on the table, or the incel rhetoric being around, affects every young man. So he's affected by the threat of being perceived as an incel. But according to our research, incels are disproportionately ethnic minority. So in our recent data, 42% of incels were a person of color. That's exclusively US and UK sample. The extraordinarily high rates of autism among the incel community, roughly 30% based on our latest data. So that really wasn't touched on at all in the show. The mental health wasn't touched on an awful lot in the show. Little bits of his low self-esteem and how insecure he was. That maybe was spoken to a little bit, but the suicidality, like I've often said, that extremist violence of incels is often likely self-directed.
Yeah, they're a bigger risk to themselves than they are to anybody else.
Yes, I mean, like, it's unverifiable how many have actually followed through on their suicidal ideation, but just to remind your viewers of the statistics, they're quite stark. 30% of incels in our recent data said they thought about suicide or self-harm every day over the last 2 weeks. When 33% more said they thought about it more than half the days or several days over the last 2 weeks.
So 2/3 have had these thoughts pretty regularly.
At least once in the last 2 weeks. Now, if you put that into context, in the general population, it's 5% of...
I'm going to talk about mental health, and there's some... my mind goes a little bit in a different direction when he talks about mental health and stuff. Like, I'm going to speak from an evolutionary psychology standpoint tomorrow. I'm going to do another stream tomorrow. If you've actually made it this far into the stream, but anyway, so we're gonna talk more about that tomorrow. We're just gonna try and get a little bit more of this in.
If people have had a suicidal thought that year. So it's a massive, that's a story that wasn't really spoken about in terms of realism of the threat of extremism from incels that I think people need to pay attention to is as much the mental health as anything else.
What else about Jamie that was right and wrong?
So I thought episode 3 is extremely powerful, where it depicts him and his psychiatrist having a kind of an interview to gauge, she's trying to gauge how she can get into his mindset about why he did what he did. And in that episode, it's quite powerful acting, but I recognize, and a lot of people online are commenting that, wow, you can see what a psychopath he is, how manipulative he was. And I'm kind of thinking, well, no, I just saw a pretty normal teenager who's angry. He oscillates between really charming and trying to cultivate rapport and extreme.
Yes, it's very normal for a little boy going through adolescence to experience a lot of emotions that is going to be very new to him. That's why I don't think a lot of parents understand, or maybe they do, but I don't think people in general understand that. Like when you when you're at that age, you're starting to become a man. So now you're starting to have to perform in order to get your way. So if you don't get your way, you're going to throw some temper tantrums. You're going to be upset. You're going to have you're going to have a ridiculous amount of um, unsustainability of your emotions. So you're not going to be able to control your emotions at at certain times in your life. So it's going to be uh, as a teenage boy, it's going to be very, very difficult if you don't have that masculine figure helping you out with some of those problems, because you're going to have to deal with stress on a different level than you did when you were like, I don't know, 7, 8, 9. So when you get to that age, when you're like in high school, you're learning new things. Like it's getting tougher. Um, I mean, I wasn't gonna go on depth in this, but I guess I will. So I don't think the school system is cut out for men, or it's cut out for boys to succeed in. Um, and I'll say it like this: like men do better in trade than they do in college. Like for me, I was horrible in high school. I thought I was a failure. I just couldn't sit still. Like I had to go out and do stuff. Like the only time I really felt like I was at home is when I was in gym class. Like that's the only time I really felt like I was succeeding in anything. So when I got out of high school, I did very good in A school. I did good in C school. These are trade schools, basically in the military, to learn how to work on aircraft, which is significantly harder than high school. But the fact it was hands on, I got to get out and bloody my hands. I had to do the work instead of sitting. I mean, we did have to sit in the classroom, but not as much as you did in high school or college. So, um, let's see. I'm doing good. I did good in CDL school. I did good with cable. Uh, I mean, even working on the pin setters in the bowling alley. That's not. I mean, I'm not going to say that's easy to do, but it's not. Like you're not going to see women do that mostly. Like a lot of stuff that men do, women aren't going to do because it's just not in their nature. So that's why a lot of women do better in school than men. Obviously, you're gonna get some men that perform. I mean, that's just how they are built. But most men aren't gonna they're not gonna get good grades in high school or any kind of school where you sit there, because it's not meant for. That's just not how they learn. It's very feminizing, and people don't really understand that what how men succeed isn't the same way women succeed. Like um, women succeed by locking down the highest value man they can, and then men succeed by conquering uh, their field of work. So that's how that's how empires were built. So uh, women are an asset to a man's success. So I mean, you can disagree with that all you want, but it's pretty much a fact. So
anger,
Hmm.
insecurity. I also saw there was little hints that he perhaps treated the female figures of authority in his life a little bit differently. I thought the school that was depicted showed that as
I am glad he caught that, because if it was a male psychiatrist, which I don't, I really believe that a male therapist, and I just heard some, I'm not sure it's true, but I heard that like psychologists don't go through, they don't learn about evil psych, which is kind of weird because they should have to learn how to, they need to know the male biology, the male psychology of evolutionary, um, like they should know that, but I guess they don't. Um, I think that's why there's so much disagreements in the red pill space, because people don't understand the difference between prescription and description. So, um, but yeah, I'm glad he caught that, because only men can emote to what men are going through. Like the fact that he got a female psychiatrist is like, I don't think I don't know if the writers did that on purpose to make a woman look more dominant in a man. Like well, the man being Jamie, the little boy, to make it seem like we should be um, giving authority to women. I think that's where the agenda is, because she is the authority figure in this situation. So why wouldn't they just put a man, because the man would know what he was going through most of the time. Like, she doesn't understand that his anger is normal. I mean, killing isn't normal. He should have a little more control over that. But as far as what he's doing in the room where he's in the room with the woman god damn it, psychiatrist. Uh, yeah, it's just, I don't know. Look, I went through therapy, and this is way before I was red pill aware. You know, they asked me if I wanted a female or a male therapist, and I'm not afraid to talk to women, but I was like, I want a man, because he's probably gonna understand what the hell I'm struggling with. Like, a woman can't understand a male experience. It's just, and you can't blame them either. It's just they're not men, so they can't understand men. Where on the other side, we have to understand women to attract women. So, like, you get that in a lot. Like, oh well, men don't understand women, but we have to. Otherwise, we'd all be incels. God damn it. But yeah, let's see what else we got. So,
as well, that the male teachers were kind of angry and shouting and able to command maybe a bit more.
Women were a little bit more fawning or useless.
Right, and maybe that speaks to what Richard Reeves talks about, the need for really positive male role models as teachers in the school. One of the male teachers they depicted was pretty floundering. Mr. Malik is his name. He comes in late, his shirt is untucked, and he's burnt out, and that's a real problem in UK schools. I have a background in education, and I know it's really hard for schools to retain teachers more than 5 years, so they really depicted that the schools function more as behavioural management. That was one thing that's really accurate. I don't know if that mirrors your experience of UK schools.
Absolutely.
It was pretty
Yeah,
normal.
I mean, the northeast of the UK place famous only for having the highest teen pregnancy rating in England, and then it lost that, so we didn't even have that title anymore.
Yeah.
But yeah, very much so. I mean, you know, it was a zoo.
Mhm.
It was a fucking zoo. I think of everybody that went to school in my year at Grangefield, I would guess less than 10 of them went to the sixth form college that was about a quarter of a mile away.
Mhm.
And maybe out of the entire year group, 2 or 3 other people went to university except for me.
Wow.
Out of a whole, and it's a big school.
Yeah.
There would have been hundreds of kids per year.
Yeah.
So it's just not got that. And I mean, to be honest, looking around at that school, they even talk about, are you thinking about doing your A levels?
Mhm.
He's like, this kid's 13, and they're talking about him doing his A levels.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah, the psychopath thing, I guess you have to play into tropes
Mhm.
in some way, and lots of killers have been portrayed as somebody that's psychopathic,
Mhm.
because we need to have, there needs to be an othering of not only how was this person sort of caught up and whipped around, but there needs to be some culpability on them. And I think that's sort of some endogenous issue, like the personality of this person,
Mhm.
he's a psychopath. But I would be very surprised if somebody that's even mildly psychopathic would wet the bed
Yeah.
when the door gets kicked in at night. They're not going to care.
Yeah.
They're not going to be worried about it.
Yeah, and the show did go to great lengths to show that in other facets of his life, he was perceived as a normal kid. He wasn't in trouble in school. He wasn't in many fights.
His
it
grades
did-
were okay. He had 2 friends.
Yes, this did seem to come kind of out of the blue. One thing that's kind of ironic is Mr. Malik, to bring it back to throw him under the bus a little bit more, he's kind of lampooned as being inept because of his over-reliance on showing videos to the students.
Meanwhile, Keir Starmer says, hold my beer.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's kind of, I don't know if the irony is lost there. But yeah, the depiction of the school was pretty accurate, that it's moved towards more behavioural management. And, there's a rush to maybe not exclude behaviourally disruptive students. And it creates a school environment where, for those years, you're trapped with the best and the worst in terms of behaviour of your peer group. That can be hell for a lot of people.
Yeah,
So
that's what I mean.
yeah, right.
It was for anybody that wanted to try and be sort of educationally effective.
Yeah.
You end up in this environment that kind of,
yeah, I'm gonna cut it there. So, this is Chris Williamson. Go check that podcast out. They react to what adolescence gets wrong. So, but whoa, the heck? Where did it go? Where did I go? Okay, there we go. So what the hell? Okay, I froze. No, we'll come back. We're just waiting for we are waiting for it to unfreeze. Come on. see if we can do this. Oh, hold on. Oh, we're back. Okay, yeah, it froze. God damn it. Internet's trash. The internet is trash. Okay. Like I said, that was Chris Williamson. Go check that episode out. Let's see if we got anything else we want to talk about today. Yeah, this is what I call a mega stream. Normally I don't typically go more than an hour, but I had a lot to talk about. Let's see here. Let's see what crypto's doing right now. I know it's a weekend, so crypto doesn't usually have crazy price action on the weekends. Ooh, get back. Having issues with StreamYard right now. We're gonna share the screen. We're gonna see what the charts look like on Bitcoin. So as we can see right now, Bitcoin is trading at 83, just a little bit over 83K. Still under, it's about 1.64 trillion market cap. Anything under 2 trillion market cap is a good buy for Bitcoin at this stage in the market, because we know we're going to go to the moon. So we are not in a bear market, not yet. We are still very much in a bull market. So it looks like let me get the 7-day here. Sorry about that. We are still up. We are still in the green on the 7-day, so we are still trading in the green on the 7-day. On the monthly, we are in the red. Yep, we are down 5%, almost 60% in the red. 6% in the red. Let's go. Let's go to trading view. Where is boom? Can we see this? Okay, so if we look at this, we have we are on a downtrend. So we are definitely on a downtrend. So the trend line is about 83. It's a little bit, yeah, it's about 83K. So I would say between, if we could go lower too. Just depends on the, really depends on the Sunday close. So we can't really tell from this chart, but we are, if you zoom out, we are on the uptrend. So this is what people don't understand about Bitcoin. As you can see, this is your 20K levels right here, your 28K levels. If you can see this line, let me put this here. So if you're buying below this right here, which is below 30K, you should still be up. As long as you didn't sell off all your profit, if you didn't sell off all your Bitcoin. So this is what I'm trying to tell you guys. Like, if you're investing in Bitcoin or the S&P 5000 or S&P 500, you shouldn't be down on your investments, because it doesn't really go back down to bear market lows. And I'm talking about Bitcoin specifically. Your bear market low would probably be around 69K if we went into a bear market, which is absurd because that's pretty low. I mean, that's pretty high for a bear market. So yeah, you gotta move smartly in this market, man. Like, I think people are tripping out because the market's not moving like it was in previous, and a lot of retail are actually they're resisting. Like, I think a lot of retail learned their lesson from last time, but there's still a lot of new people in the market that have no clue what's going on. So they're selling at losses, and they're not buying dips. I can tell you that if I sold all my Bitcoin right now at a loss, the market would jump up. That's just how that's how it went for me in the past. So I learned from that. So just like other retail, um, yeah, that doesn't make sense. I'm still learning my technical analysis, but we'll get there. So I'm more into fundamental analysis right now because I can tell you what coins that I invest in that most people won't invest in, but I invest in certain coins that I think are going to give me the most gains, and I'm going to throw a lot of my profits back into Bitcoin. So I'm heavily invested in Gala. I've been short trading Solana here and there. Ethereum, Ethereum's it's kind of underperforming, but as we know, it will come back. We know this as a fact. And I say that based on probability. That means that it could not come back, but most likely it will. Because all the altcoins that are on the Ethereum blockchain they need Ethereum to perform in order for it to show progress. So, I mean, if coins like Shiba Inu is in the top 16, top 20, then I don't. I expect a lot of these coins to recover too. A lot of things are in the red right now. Let's see where my friend Gala is at. Yeah, we're gonna take a look at Gala. Nobody really talks about Gala, except people like me who are invested in Gala. Let's go here. Is it showing? Oh, it clicked off. Okay. There we go. So I'm in the tokenomics right now. Trying to look for a certain number. Yeah, these are all the holders. Oh, God, there was a number. I can't get to it right now. We're gonna stop sharing this. So default. Yeah, this is what I do when I'm like looking at crypto. So Gala is currently trading at basically a penny and a half, which is very low because I started accumulating Gala at 1 cent. So I'm pretty much trading. I'm at a small loss, but not like substantially low. I'm still good. My portfolio is still about 50% in the green. So let's see. There's a lot of people just shilling this coin. Who knows if they're actually investing a large amount? Not like I'm holding a lot of Gala. And the market cap's under 700 million. Like ridiculous. See, the only problem is like the circulating supply went up to 43 billion, almost 44 billion. It was like around 35 billion. Now it's a little bit higher. So, and this is why you need a hold long term because you don't know if that's going to change. That they could start burning tokens, and then that would lower the supply. But what we want, or what we don't want, is to jump from a project that we have conviction in, just because just because a lot of people are saying it's dead. You don't want to, because a lot of people are going to say it's dead. They don't do any kind of research. So we're going to go to the website. So this is the Gala website. If you guys aren't familiar with Gala, let's go and check this out. So they have games, music, and film. I like to film. I like to watch the podcast. They got damn it. Oh, look at they're using the Miami graphics. So this is a rap battle series. So we're gonna scan through this. So look at what they have on here as far as Gala film. So they got cartoon graphics. They got RZR. Oh, this is a film that I watched. I watched the first couple episodes so far. It's not too bad. Go check that out. They got comedy. They have more. Well, they have more cartoon like animated series. Father of Flies. Oh, I might have to check that out. So, Common Ground. This stuff's. This is an in post production, so it's not out yet. The Almost Jaded. Witchboard. That's in production. I think that's been in production for a minute. So, this is an upcoming. This is a project that they're working on. Who knows? I don't know if the speed of their projects could probably get better. If you want my objective take, the website looks good. There's a lot of stuff that I have not done on this website, but I have been coming on to this website more and more. But there's just a lot. There's a lot to do on this website that people, and they're still upgrading stuff. So they're still doing a lot of things with this project that I think people are just unaware of. But yeah, and I think I am going to cut this stream because I've been going for 2 hours. And we need to chillax for a little bit because we do have to go work tomorrow. So we're gonna do a stream tomorrow on a book that I'm reading called The Ape That Understood the Universe. So that should be fun. We're gonna talk about the differences between men and women. We're gonna talk about mental health. We're gonna talk about I got some notes too, man. How women are. What was I gonna say? Yeah, we're gonna talk about. We're gonna talk about evolutionary biology. Like, there's certain things I want to touch up on that. Why men and women are weak today. Mostly men. Women are just we're talking about mental issues with women, and we're talking about mentally weak men today. So we're going to try and touch upon those topics. And then we want to get some comments. I want to get some feedback from you guys. Like, let me know what your take is on some of this stuff. I am definitely not new to the RP space. I've been in it for a minute. Just now starting to see. Like, dude, don't make fun of my, oh my God, I need to get another chair. I look so weird. Oh my God, this chair is making my posture look very weird. But I don't normally look like this. Let me see if just playing with this. Just change the camera. Boom. That makes me look better. Yo. Okay. Yeah, we're going to cut it there. If you made it this far, like the video, and we are going to do an outro.